So good day everyone. Welcome to section 4 of my CorelDRAW teaching and coaching. So in this section 4 I'll be talking on how to convert lines to curve in order to create reasonable objects. I'll also be talking of how to make outlines, how to carry out your outlines or input outlines on objects. I'll also be talking about how to use shapes to form objects. You can also use shapes to form logo. Use shapes to create different objects that are fanciful and attractive. I'll also be talking about how to use the impact tool and using skews and rotation angles on shapes. So I will be speaking majorly on shapes or discussing majorly on shapes today in section 4. So good day everyone. So we'll be very fast and snappy, and let's see how we can go about this. Now this is my canvas. I can, just as I told you, in order to put the rectangle shape on my canvas, so as to overlay the shape on my canvas, I can apply it in two ways. It's either I go mechanically by picking the rectangular tool and then from the edge drag and drop, so that I have created my overlay for the canvas. Remember, I told you that this is most times very important, so that you don't draw directly or you don't design directly on your canvas. So you need this. You need this particular overlay. It's very, very important. Now this is either you drag and drop, or okay, watch me now. I want to delete this. So the other alternative is you can go to this rectangle and double click. Did you see any effect? Did you notice the effect? So if you want me to try it again, I can try it again. Watch, I have deleted this, so you can see that the canvas is empty now. Now I have gone to this rectangular shape, 1, 2. You can see it automatically. It's faster instead of dragging and dropping. So let's proceed. Now all designs should be done on this canvas, except maybe as I am teaching and I decide to leave some outside the canvas because I'm not printing out. But if you are doing any design that you are supposed to print out, it's supposed to be on this particular canvas. Anything you do outside the box will not be printed. Take note of it. So let's proceed. Now I want to talk on shapes, just as I promised today. I'll be fast. I'll try my possible best to be as fast as possible. Now I just want to play with some shapes, and first of all, what we have here is the eclipse shape. We have the eclipse shape. Remember, when you want to make use of this shape, you have to hold your control and then left click and drag, so that you can easily get it in the right position. Because without holding your control, sometimes while you just left click and drag, the circle can get out of shape. You can see what is happening here. The circle can get out of shape. So, but when you hold down your control and drag, you get exactly a very good eclipse. So that's that. Now we also have after the eclipse, we have the 3-point eclipse. This 3-point eclipse, watch how it goes. You can see how it goes. So this is how we make use of it. If we want to create a 3-point eclipse or a 3-dimensional eclipse like this. This is how we do it. So, and remember that this shape is almost like an oval shape, except if you want to get it exactly to be like the eclipse, then it means you need to adjust the shape. But remember, I told you it's not good adjusting shapes from here. We adjust shapes from here. This one also, if I'm to adjust the shape, I'm adjusting it from here. So that's it. And I want to just make a brief design out of this particular oval shape. Remember, let's say if this particular shape now is to be used for a design, watch me. I can just hit on it. Once I hit on the center, you watch the rotation angles has been highlighted. The skew has been highlighted also. There's a difference. Look, now I clicked on my board. Watch, I have clicked on it again. Now you see that it's just the normal nodes that are surrounding it. But when I click on the center, you can see a difference. With this difference, with these angles, I can be able to turn. You get it now? With this skew, I can be able to make some adjustments. Can you see my adjustment? So I want to just do a brief design with this now. Now that I have it this way, I click on it, I click again. Now that I have it highlighted like this with my rotation keys, I will Ctrl+D. I have duplicated, and now that I have duplicated, I will hold my left click and just pull it a little with the rotation angle. Now that I have pulled with the rotation angle, I will now Ctrl+D to duplicate again. Ctrl+D, 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 Ctrl+D. So you see what happened here. I will still take it again. Just try to watch me. I picked my tool again. Okay. Ctrl+D. I need to make sure that it does not move, because if it moves, you will not get the exact rotation you need. See that there was a little the alignment was not what I really wanted, because there was a shift. To be a little bit faster this time around. Ctrl+D. It shifted. Okay, you can see this now. If you watch the lining, you will see that it is different from this. When I did Ctrl+D, this one shifted a little from the original line, but you see this one now, Ctrl+D, still maintained the exact line. This one will give me exact movement that I need. So now that I have rotated a little, I'll now do Ctrl+D. No, because it's giving me, it's not pushing the way I want it. Ctrl+D. Okay. Okay, so you can see the shapes we have so far, and if I want to make it more fanciful, I can go ahead and just give it some colors. And if you are to apply colors to this, you should know that it will be good if you can really apply the colors in a way that it will give your work more lively look. So you can see and that reminds me, after the use of these shapes, I'll be talking on colors on my next section, because as a designer, you need to really understand how to make use of colors so that you can come up with something beautiful. So I want to highlight this now. The reason for my highlighting it is so that I can group it. Once I group it, I can be able to move. It to anywhere I want, and I can reduce it and place it on my palette. So you can see that this one is ready now. This particular one is not grouped yet, but I would really like to give it a different design apart from this. So before I go over to design that, let's move to I think we have rectangle. This is our rectangular shape. This rectangle can also be used as a square if you can be able to align it well. Remember that a square is a shape that has all four sides equal, but when you want to use it as a rectangle, it means the breadth will be longer than the length, so you can use it for multi-purpose shape tools. Then remember, I can still use it to create my triangle. Watch me. In order to use this square to create my triangle, there are different ways I can do it, but let me just highlight some ways for you now. And I want to, first of all, I dropped my tool. Remember, anytime I move this way, dropping the tool, I hit on pick 2. If I hit on pick 2, I drop that particular tool I was using before. There's also a shortcut to it, and first of all, I'll right click on this object, that object I want to tamper with or adjust. I right click on it, convert it to coarse. Once you get it converted to coarse, the next thing you do is to go here. You see where after, just underneath the pick tool, there is what we call the shape tool. If you hit on it, automatically you see the nodes will appear, and once the nodes appear, you can now do your magic. Convert any shape you want to however you want it. So it's now in form of a triangle. Aside from that, also, let's see, convert this also to another triangle using another method. I want to Ctrl+D now. Ctrl+D, I've duplicated it. Okay, what do we do now? Let's see how we can use, there's what we call knife tool here. Watch, after this shape tool, come down here, you see knife. You can use the knife tool. When you come to the edge, you will see what we call node. There's a node here. Drag the node to the last end of the other node. Okay, let's see if we have divided it. Okay, that's good. You can see that we have divided our rectangle, so our triangle rather. So what do we do now? We can just come here, pick our pen tool. Either you pick your pen tool or you pick your 2-point line to any one of them. Pick your 2-point line tool. Then from this node, you move to this node. Automatically your triangle is set. So the same goes with this. Triangle is set. So that's it. And there are other ways actually. There are other ways with time we'll get to know more about them. So let's just continue. Let's speed up. So now I want to talk on how to outline an object. Remember, we are still going to be playing with some of these tools, but let's see how we can outline an object. Okay, hold on a little bit. Let me work on. Okay, this is a polygon. Before I outline objects, this is actually a polygon, and I believe you know what polygons are. Polygons are shapes with multiple angles. A triangle is a shape with three angles, but polygons have multiple angles. I want to work on this polygon. I want to reduce the number of sides. Okay, so you can see what I did. Actually, this is the normal shape of polygon you will get, but the reason why my own was altered is because I worked on it. without returning it back to the normal shape. This is the normal shape you will get on your polygon tool. So but what I did to distort the normal shape was when I collected the polygon tool, you activate it with Y. When you activate it with pressing alternate Y, Alt Y, you will go to your property tool, and then this is your property tool, and then you will see it on this particular menu here. Then once you see number of sides, you can be able to increase the number of sides to any amount of side you need. So you can even increase it to the extent that it becomes a circle. So you can try that on your own. I don't have much time, I just want to speed up the process. So you can see now, it's now 4 here, it's now 3. I think triangle is the last one, so you can see that automatically I've gotten another triangle. So that's why I told you that there are many ways of converting to shapes. You can see another triangle here. So that's it. If I keep increasing, automatically it goes back to the normal shape it's supposed to be. So let's proceed. We have our star. I'll also be using this star to make a little design. Making use of the star to make a little design. So let's see what I can come up with. Remember I told you, when you want to increase a scale, pull it from the angles, not from the side. You pull it from this side, automatically you will spoil the scale of that particular shape. So I've spoiled this particular one already. So let me pick a fresh one. And when you want to drag a shape, try to hold the Ctrl key, then with your left click, then you drag. With this you get a proper shape of a tool. So you can see that now I have activated my rotation angles and my skew, and then Ctrl+D. So with this Ctrl+D now, I want to have the triangle turned slightly to my right hand side. Then I Ctrl+D again, Ctrl+D. So you can see the shape I have produced. Now I want to do something a little bit fancy here. Hold on, I didn't actually hold my Control key while dragging the circle, so I lost. Okay, so I think this one has a more proper shape now. You can still increase it a little bit. Now that I have this shape this way. I want to highlight. Sorry, that's a mistake. Let me drop my tool. Highlight. In the next section, I'll be telling you the shortcut to dropping your tool so that you can easily drop your tool instead of always moving here to pick your tool. So I highlight and grouped, so you can see that automatically I've grouped the object. Please watch carefully so that you can also replicate what I'm doing. Now that I have grouped the object, okay, I want to ungroup. More. I have ungrouped it, and remember, now that I ungrouped it, I can easily scatter all the shapes again. But I ungrouped them because I want to use this particular weld. Because if I group it, automatically this weld will not be seen. So I ungrouped it so that I can see this weld. So while I'm making use of this weld is to combine the circle with my triangles. So now watch, so you can see it. Then I can easily create another circle. Let's go with this to create a design. I duplicated it. Okay, I think good to go. So using spectacular colors again, Ctrl+Z. Let's start with the middle. Let's give it a yellow. Trying to capture a circle in the middle, which I have done. Okay, so the next circle, let's give it a blue, and then the last. Okay, this particular one is actually above all the circles. So what I will do now is just hold Ctrl and click on page down, Ctrl and page down. We take it back to the other circles. We take it to the back of the other two circles I gave colors. So watch, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, I Ctrl Z. You want to know why it's not going down. Page. I want to pick it by objects. I was clicking go page down. It's not applying. Let me pick it by object now. I think my yellow should page up. Okay. I think the reason why it was not actually coming up was because of some other, why I was not seeing it the way it's supposed to reflect was because of some other shapes that they are really above it. So it's trying to, it was coming up, but I wasn't really seeing it. So you can see where the yellow is now. Watch what will happen. Page down, page down. So you can see page down, page down, page down, page up. You can see page up, page up. So until it was able to come to the red before it applied. So we have to be cautious of the number of tools that are in our work. Actually, it's because I'm trying to show us something. That's why we have all these tools here. So you can see now, I went to objects and I was able to pick the exact tool I needed. So that's it. So I can now highlight all and group. Okay, so let me just delete some of this one so that it can make my work more easier while I show you some tools. Okay. Okay, now back to shapes. Once I pick this common shape, you see that I have a rhombus. I can still right click, convert it to curves. Once I convert it to curves, I go to shape 2 and it becomes a triangle. Converted it to triangle. I drop it again. I come back to the 2. Remember, I clicked on common shapes. I have a rhombus. This rhombus can be converted to a square. So this triangle having double head, up and down, is called skew. So I can actually use this rhombus to create something. Fanciful. Okay, just watch. So now I want to highlight it. And group it. Now that I've highlighted and grouped it, I can still Ctrl+D to duplicate it. You can see it. So I'm trying to make use of my skills. So you can see that the house has been created here, just using shapes. If I want to make it more fanciful, I can drop windows. So you can see this particular shape I kept here. Now I want to actually make sure that it laps this particular white area. So just as I told you, and if you want to make a shape flexible, a particular shape flexible enough to become a different shape altogether, or to get the exact shape you need, you have to first of all right click and convert it to curves. Don't forget, once you convert to curves, then go to shape tool and pick it. Once you pick that shape tool, automatically you can now adjust that shape Ctrl+Z. I made mistake there. Okay, so that's it. So you can see it now. Then that's that. So this shape, actually, this what I did here was also the same way was also the same procedure I did to produce this particular shape you will see here now. Let me zoom in. Let me zoom in a little. So this is actually my second page. So you can see this particular shape now. That was the same procedure I used. So let me just take it out small so you can see. So this particular one I put here, like a handle, is actually done by, I did it by using the shape tool. Also I inserted it with, I actually used a 2-pointer tool there, then converted to a shape. I think I used a pen. Okay, so it was actually a pen tool. It was a pen tool I used to create this particular one. So this was exactly how I did it. Then what I now did was to duplicate it. I pressed Ctrl+D to make it thicker, the way you are seeing it here. So that's that. So let's go back to our page. So I'm actually making use of the zoom tool, trying to make my work come out clearer and more visible. So I'm about rounding up now. I just want to hasten up this particular design I kept here. See what I'm going to do to it now. Once I highlight it, automatically you will see these options here. Once it is highlighted, you will see weld. Weld is to combine objects into a singular curve object with a single fill and outline. That was what I did here, if you could remember. Then this one is trim, to cut a portion of an object out by using the shape of another object. We'll still make use of that in our next class. That is the next sessions I'll be doing. And we have intercept, then we have simplified. Actually, the one I want to use here is simplified. But before I do that, I have to first of all put a curve there. If I just simplify it like that, this is how it will look like. But I want to put a curve there. Let me put a circle so that it will look more presentable. Okay, now I'm highlighting it, then I'll go to simplify, so you can see it. This is exactly what I wanted us to get from this object. So now I can group it. Then I think the next thing I want to show us here is how to use our Docker. How to use Docker to change objects. I picked the polygon tool. This is a polygon tool. So now I want to go to Windows. From Windows, I select my Dockers, and from Dockers, I move to Effects. Then from Effects, I move to Envelope. So once I click on Envelope, you see various tools here that I can use to perform different magics. So once I click on this, it becomes, a fancy Xmas tree. So whichever one I click on here, it automatically changes to that shape. So that's the shape of love. So see that. So whichever one that did not give you the actual shape you need after clicking on it, you can now go ahead to use the convert to curves to finish up that. So that's that. Okay, now let me make use of this particular design I did here. I want to Ctrl+D to duplicate. And now there is something I want to show us here. You can see the impact tool. I want to make use of impact tool here. So once you have dropped the impact tool, you can go to properties, click on properties, and you can choose you can see the thickness. 36.0 is so thick. Let me reduce it to this. You can see that now. So you can see that I have a different design altogether now. From here you can still pick different shapes you might want that same design to take. You can see I have changed the shape. So that is it. I can now highlight and group. My star has taken another shape. I can now write, if I want it to become a logo, I can now, depending on what the type of logo I want to create. If you watch my page 1, you can see this was the finished work there. So I wrote my logo there. So you can see how it is. So the same way, same thing applies to this. Remember I told you to zoom out, you can use the Ctrl+. With Ctrl+, you can zoom out easily. And if it is too large, you can still use Ctrl-. Okay. So I think I need to leave you guys to replicate this. At least if you can be able to replicate some of the ones I've done so far, then by next class we'll be talking of moving over to how to use colors, color combinations, and color spectrums. And there is something I forgot to also show you. There is a design I did in my first page. I think this was how I came up with that design. When you bring out a circle, I kept on pressing Ctrl+D, and that was how I arrived here. So CorelDRAW is all about manipulation of shapes, colors, and skill to bring up a useful design. So this particular one now, I can actually zoom in. grouped it also. So I want to be leaving us with the final design using shapes. I want to leave us with the final design for today. Remember I told you that when one object is hidden, you can move over to your objects, locate that object, I think is this, then just go with Ctrl page up. So trying to round up as fast as possible because of the time, so I might not get it as smooth as it's supposed to be, but I'm expecting you to take your time. So I want to go with the pen tool here. So I'm creating a node. Remember, when you have this, you can press escape, as I told you earlier on. Let's have another one here. Let's press the escape, and then let's have another one here. So now I want to make use of the smart fill. Okay, should in case you use the pen tool and it didn't work on your own CorelDRAW, You can also use this 2-point line. So you can watch this 2-point line. That was what I used to create the nodes from here to here and from here to here. So this one. Now once you are done using the 2-point line, then you can drop your 2-point line. Then use the smart fill. Pick your smart fill. Once you pick your smart fill, then just touch any of the lines. For this particular one now, I want to use green. For this particular one, I want to use yellow. For this particular one, I'm using red. So you can see the logo is coming up. So what I will just do now is this particular circle. I want to pick this particular circle inside. I duplicated it with Ctrl+D. Then I reduced. Okay, so I want to give it a blue shade. So that's it. Now I can control it. So it's ready now. So what I do now is just to pick triangle tool. I haven't picked the triangle tool. Duplicate it. And then I'm going to just move a little to the right. Yes. Now I will duplicate more. If you want to get a better version of this shape, you must make sure that when you duplicate, your rectangle does not shift. So the next thing we do, if you want to make sure that all circles are in alignment, the first duplicate, the first Ctrl+D you will do, make sure that your triangle is in same alignment with the original one, so that you can get a very nice circular shape. Okay, so just because of time, let me just proceed. I don't want to waste much time here. So the next thing I'll do now is to highlight, then weld. Highlight, weld. Okay, before I weld, sorry, I need to drop my circle, because before welding you need to put in two objects. We weld two objects. So now I have a circle in place. Want to make it a bit more centralized. Okay, so now I can go ahead, highlight and weld. So let's use the weld. Okay. You can see now that I've welded it. You can see my new shape. Then I can still use okay. So in order not to waste much time, I'm supposed to create a design here of a particular logo, but in order not to waste much time, let me just use this and finish up the design. Just use this and finish up the design. Then you can as well write, you can pick any write-up, any logo write-up, and just like an alphabet, maybe depending on the logo the company yes or something like that. So let me just put RC again. So you can see it. I can make this color white. Then I can still increase it by duplicating it. Give this a background color of any of your choice. Okay, I used shift down to move the objects behind other objects. So I want to pick this my inner circle. I can still give it more lighter color and then page down also. let me just highlight this so that I can have it as one image. When we move to this, Ctrl up. So with this, you can see it's well positioned. Then you can highlight all objects. So now you highlight all objects, you can reduce your logo. So you can actually see it. So just try and replicate the same thing, and I'll see you in the next section. Okay, goodbye.